A comic book hero cat ninja, a girl riding a bike on a stormy night, a cartoon army of tiny mice fighting a giant pizza, a city with buildings made out of cheese. Are these things that Canva's new Magic Media tool can actually create out of nothing? Well, in this video, we're going to be looking at just that question. We're going to be looking at the new Magic Media tool in Canva for both creating still images and for creating video now. How good is this tool? Can it actually deliver realistic results? What should our expectations be? Let's dive into that in this video. Okay, I am recording this video shortly after Canva has announced its new Magic Studio, which is basically their branding of trying to put all their AI-powered tools under one umbrella, one term, this term Magic Studio. So some of these tools they actually had already, and then some of these tools are new tools. So if I scroll down this page here, we can see that one of the things they're advertising here is this down here: turn your ideas into magic in videos with Magic Media. So text to image, that's been around a little while in Canva, but we'll take another look at this. But then we're also going to take a dive into this text to video. Now you can type a text prompt and actually have it return a video to you. But does it actually do anything that's worthwhile? What kind of results can we get? Well, we're going to take a look at this in this video. So let's dive right in. So I will go ahead and click this Try Magic Media link from here, but then I'm going to show you how you can get to this from any document within Canva. So I'll go ahead and hit Try Magic Media, and we see when I do that for text to image, it actually opens up sort of a square format document. And I'll go back, and now let me just show you if I had opened this Try Magic Media with the text to video option, then that has opened up in something with different dimensions, more something that's suitable for the phone here. So obviously clicking those two different options opened up two different projects with different dimensions. But what I want to point out to you is it doesn't really matter. And just to show you that, I'm going to go over to another project here, right here, which is actually a presentation. So this is 1920 by 1080. I can get to the same option because anytime you click that Magic Media from that page, it's actually pulling up this Magic Media app. So if I click on this now, we see we have the same options here within this presentation, and I can choose the image, which is text to image, or I could choose the video, which is text to video. Now, this Magic Media app I now have docked over here, but if you don't realize this, you can actually turn off everything below this apps tab. I can close the X and I can close this here. And if I don't see the app I'm looking for, so if you haven't used Magic Media yet, you're going to have to find it under this apps button. So all you're going to do is click in under apps. If you start to type out Magic Media, then eventually it's going to find the relevant results. So here's Magic Media. I have another video about Magic Morph, which I can link above and down below if you want to learn about that tool. But now we're talking about this Magic Media, so just click on it. Here it is right here. So I can click that, and then as soon as I do, it docks it over here in the tab. So things that you've recently used, apps that you've recently used, they're going to show up here, and also any project folders that you've recently accessed, they're going to show up here. But if things get too cluttered, like if I'm not going to use this Magic Morph anytime soon, I can exit out just to declutter my left menu here. So that's just a little tip about the left menu. Now let's get into this Magic Media option. So once we get into this Magic Media option, we see that we have a tab for video and we have a tab for images. Now under video, it says new, and it says it's in beta mode. And it also says down here that this is experimental new technology. Scenes with people or animals may not look quite right. Okay, so this is our first clue that we might want to temper our expectations with this tool. This is still very new, so let's see what kind of results we're going to get. Now, images, this has been around for a little bit longer. Text to image has been around for several months within Canva. And then also, if you've been following the AI sort of revolution at all, you know that there are lots and lots of image generators out there now that are actually getting kind of scary good at how well they can produce an image just from a text prompt. Okay, so let's start with this. Let's just remind ourselves of this. So you can type in a prompt here, or you can try an example. Let's just start by trying example. So it says bohemian rustic event venue at dusk while with hanging lights. Okay, so let's just go ahead and create the image. Now you remember when you create an image, you can leave style turned off, or you can come in here and you can choose a different style. You can choose a different aspect ratio. So let's just use all for that. And for now, let's just do photo. We could choose digital art. We could choose retro 3D. So let's just try photo for now. We're just going to leave it on photo. We'll leave it on, well, square. Since we have a landscape image here, landscape format, let's use landscape and let's create our image. So again, bohemian rustic event venue at dusk with hanging lights. Okay, so if you've done any of this before, you know that the prompts you put in can really change the results you're going to get, and it really does take some experimentation. Okay, so let me just click on these and say, okay, this looks reasonable. I don't really know what a bohemian music rustic event is going to look like, so is this a good result? Well, I'm not sure, but it's a reasonable image. But this is where, of course, you're going to want to start to get to a point where you can put your own prompts in here. So I'm going to delete this now. We're going to come back over here. We're going to try a different prompt. So let's just start by typing in a comic book hero cat ninja. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that. I wrote out a few random prompts before, just having fun with choosing some things that might be fun, kind of funny, kind of interesting. And of course, here's where you could come in and you could change the style. So I says comic book hero. So I've typed that into my prompt, but of course, if I have photo, maybe that's not going to match up totally. So let's see. Playful might be a good. Concept art. I think concept art maybe for something like this, since we're asking for a comic book hero cat ninja. So let's generate again. Let's see what kind of results you're going to get. Now, anytime you do this, it returns 4 results. It might take a little while to return your result. And then, of course, you can click through to see the different results. And then also you can generate it again if it is not something you like. Now, if we look at this here, this is actually pretty cool. So it actually does return results, which I would say that these are really interesting. And this looks like good art. So again, I would say to you, you know, part of the process of creating art is putting something of yourself into the artwork. So there is that creative process that with AI art, I worry that we're losing. So again, this is not a way to go out and make a living as an artist by just typing in AI prompts. However, at the same time, if you're looking for something for a project where you don't have time to create a full piece and you're just looking for something to set the mood, then it could be something where, yeah, sure, this is useful. You can just type in a prompt and you can get this really cool result. So something to point out, if you look way down here in the very small text, it says use 1 of 493 credits refreshes at 10:31, and right now it is 10:13, so we're into October here. And so for the rest of the month here, I still have 493 credits. So that's not unlimited, but it actually is quite a lot of uses, and then it's going to refresh every month. So I think what it is you probably get like 500 credits every month if you're on the Canva Pro plan. Now, with these AI tools, most of them are tools that they are really promoting to their pro Canva base. So if you are a free Canva user, sometimes you have access and sort of some credits for some of these tools. But really, if you want to get access to the full tool, then a lot of times they are making that a pro feature. So something to keep in mind. Okay, so I teased at the beginning of this video a few other prompts. So let me just type in these other prompts. And we're going to stick with the text to image first so we can see those results. And then we're going to do the same prompts, but we're going to use the text to video feature. So let me just copy my other prompt. My other second prompt here is, let's see, Control A, Control V, a girl riding a blue bike on a dark stormy night. Okay, so again, let's look at the styles. And so we have photo, we have retro. Let's just make this one a photo here. So we're going to just go for an actual photo, and we'll go ahead and generate again. And again, it's going to give us 4 options here. We can look at those, and then we can also regenerate it if we don't like our results. Okay, so we had typed in a girl riding a blue bike on a dark stormy night, and this is what it gave us. Okay, definitely a girl on a blue bike, dark night. I don't know about stormy, but again, here's another one. Here's another one. And so it's definitely getting the girl part and the blue bike park. Now, stormy night, maybe not so much. But again, you have to experiment around with these prompts. But again, this is all just like, this is new technologies. You have to experiment around. You have to see what's going to work and what isn't going to work. Let me just open up a new page. Let's go to our next prompt. Now, I decided to get really silly with these, so let's copy and paste this next one. Control A, Control V. A cartoon army of tiny mice fighting a giant pizza. Let's look at the different styles. What should we do this style? And we have playful, we have concept art, we have dreamy. So let's make this one dreamy maybe. Okay, so we have a dreamy image that's going to be a cartoon army of tiny mice fighting a giant pizza. Let's generate again and see what kind of results we get for this crazy prompt. Okay, it's returned 4 images, so let's see. Well, it's definitely got the mice part in the pizza. Now, I don't know if that really looks like they're fighting the pizza, but again, this is where a lot of times you have to go through and you sort of have to tease your prompt. So maybe I should have said, Maybe I should have been more specific about maybe these are knights or these mice have swords, or if I had given something else in my prompt, maybe I could have had it more look like they were fighting the pizza. It looks like now maybe they are just setting up to feast on this pizza. So again, it got part of the prompt right, but it definitely did a good job with the dreamy style. It's got the pizza, it's got the mice. But again, I could have been more descriptive about maybe a giant pizza that has a face. So again, this prompt thing, AI prompt thing, people are getting paid as a new career to write AI prompts. I don't know how I feel about that, but again, you have to sort of take some time, experiment around if you want to get good at typing these prompts. And again, you can get lost down the wormhole of this AI technology. You also want to think, what am I doing where this is actually going to be useful? Or is it just something I'm doing for fun where I want to see what kind of results I can get? Okay, because we're all about doing things efficiently in Canva. We want to make sure we're making efficient use of our time. But let's go on. Let's look at our final prompt. So we have one more final prompt here, and Control C. And let me paste it over here. So Control V. A city with buildings made out of cheese. Okay, I don't need the question mark. And again, I don't know why I was on this mouse cheese kick. I don't know. It's pizza night in our house, so maybe that's just in my brain. But so let's go ahead and generate this again. So I'm going to generate this again, and we're going to see what results. I'll bring it over to a new page here. So we'll give it a second. It's going to generate 4 more results. Okay, so it's brought back full results, and I forgot to change the style. So we have this again in the dreamy style, which is fine. And again, this is pretty cool. This buildings themselves don't really look like cheese so much in this. Let's see this one here. This is a little better where the buildings in the background definitely look a little bit more cheese-like. And so this one may be even better. So it seems like if I go through results here, I'm getting some interesting options. And again, not bad. Okay, so interesting. Again, I could play around with some prompts some more. But again, when you're typing in these type of things, sometimes you are using these crazy prompts because, of course, if you're just searching for a picture of cheese, then why wouldn't you just come under the elements here and just search for cheese? And then if you bring up photos or videos, you're going to have lots and lots of options within all the Canva artwork that you get as part of your Canva account. So again, this is sometimes limited to those different ideas that are a little out there where you're not going to get the results just by searching the common Canva elements. Maybe it's something that's a little bit more conceptual, a little bit more creative, where you're going to need something maybe generated by AI art. Otherwise, you're just not going to have the results you're looking for. Okay, so using this text-to-image feature, we're able to get some really interesting results. I mean, these cat images here, this cat ninja, I think these especially are really good and interesting. Some of the other ones, we didn't get perfectly what we were getting for. This was supposed to be a stormy night. I guess it could be stormy, but it's not really the feel I was going for. So that's, again, where maybe we would play around with our prompt a little bit more. And also, I think sometimes when you're doing something in a more artistic style, maybe by its very nature, those are a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more open to interpretation. So maybe when you're doing photos themselves, something more photorealistic, it's harder to get a result that's going to be exactly what you want. But again, this is all for experimenting around. But let's see what happens if we do these same prompts, but this time we're going to use the video option. So we're going to go back under Magic Media here, and this time we're going to click this new video option. And again, it says scenes with people or animals may not look quite right. Well, we have some of those in our prompts, so let's see how we do. So I'm going to use the exact same prompts, and we're going to go through these options, and we're going to see what we get. Okay, so the first one, a comic book hero cat ninja. Let me put that prompt back in here, and we'll go ahead and generate a video. Now it says this might take 1 to 2 minutes, so this may take longer. You have to keep in mind, when you're creating an image that's 1 frame, suddenly most video is 20 to 30 frames a second, and I think what it's going to return is maybe like a 3-second clip. So even if it's only 3 seconds, that's like probably 60 plus frames that it actually has to generate. And then we're talking about frames that have to be coordinated one after the other. If you have someone riding a bike, that's coordinated movement. So I have sort of low expectations on what we're going to get here. I think this is technology that is very new. It's probably scary how well it's going to improve, over time. But for now, my expectations are tempered in terms of what sort of results we're going to get. And so I'm not sure how useful this feature is going to be yet in Canva, but of course it does say it's in beta mode, and we love to experiment around. So let's see what kind of results we can get. Okay, so the result is in, so we can click on this and bring it over here. And so we see a cute cat. I'm not sure about a ninja, but let's hit the play button and we see that, okay, so it definitely doesn't quite stay consistent here. So you can see that it has not quite blended the frames. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and it is kind of impressive that all of this is just done off a prompt, but we see that it's not really coordinated frames in terms of them really fitting together well. Definitely a lot of blurry here at the end. And so this is just one result it gave us. Okay, so it returns 4 results when you're doing that text to image. It's only going to return 1 result here, and we see at the bottom here 1 of 41 credits, refreshes 10, 20, 31. So they're not giving you quite as many credits for this video option. You have like 500 with images. Video, since it's a lot more work, I think they're giving you less options, but we can still generate this again if we want. So let's go ahead, let's use one of our remaining credits. Let's generate this again just to see how different it is from that original result we got. So we're gonna take one more try at this Cat Ninja just to see what it does. And so the next result is in and we see it looks a little bit more promising. Of course, we haven't seen the in motion part of it yet. And the other thing I wanted to point out is it says 1 of 40 credits here. Even though I have 1, I have 2, and I did some leading up to this as an experiment. I'm not actually sure whether you get charged that credit only if you export the image. So in other words, you might be able to do a lot of testing here, and if you don't actually use the video, it may not count against your credit, but that's just something to experiment around with and figure out. But let's go ahead and click this over, and we can see it still says 1 there, so I'm not actually sure about that. Maybe that's when we actually publish it, when that updates there. But let's go ahead and expand this out, and of course, moment of truth, we're going to hit the play button here. Okay, so it's sort of just a still image where it's just sort of zooming in on it slowly. So not great. We were hoping for maybe an in-motion ninja. Okay, so I think we just definitely do need to temper our expectation with this video option. I think it's just going to be a little while before this technology sort of improves and we're starting to get results that are usable results. And again, this does not take the place of creating your own art. AI generated art is something I think where you do have to be careful about it and figure out the right situations to use it, and other times where you're just going to experiment around and have fun, but you have to know when you're going to get good results and results that maybe leave a little bit to be desired. Okay, let's type in our other prompts. So let's just go through our other prompts real quick. Second one, a girl riding a blue bike on a dark, stormy night. Let's see what kind of results we get for this prompt. Okay, the result is in, and let me just point out that I am hitting the pause button while the result is generated here, so it's not actually as zippy as it seems. It is taking this 1 to 2 minutes for me like it says it was, so you just have to be a little patient with this. So let's type this in here and hit play. Okay, so it does seem like it's got the girl and the bike, and it's definitely a dark night, but you can see from watching this, it's just not coordinated. There's something really funky going on, so you can see that it's just not able to put that many frames together and have it look realistic. Okay, so this was to be expected. It's going to take a little while before we get better and better results. But again, this is a type of technology I do expect to improve quickly, so it's worth experimenting with this feature every so often just to see how it's coming along. Even maybe have a couple prompts that you revisit just to see if those improve, if those same prompts over time improve. Okay, let's try the rest of our prompts. So we have 2 more to go through here. So we're just going to hit Control A, Control V, and a cartoon army of tiny mice fighting a giant pizza. Again, if we were just looking for a video of someone riding a bike without specific things, or maybe just a pizza, you know, we could just search Canva Elements and get lots of results. But when we're doing something crazy, like maybe that's when we want to try this AI tool, because maybe then we can get something. So we're going to generate this again with this new prompt, a cartoon army of tiny mice fighting a giant pizza. And again, my prompts, I'm sure, could be improved. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking up these prompts. I just sort of brainstormed a couple random funny things to see what kind of results we could get. So let's see what we get for this prompt here. Okay, so the result is in. So let's bring that up on screen here. And whoa, what is that? So you can definitely see how this has, you know, they look like mice at first, but then the more frames we get into this, it does get really crazy. And of course, they're definitely lacking swords again. So clearly my prompts needed something to convey a little bit more that they were fighting this pizza. But again, this just shows you that we're not getting great results yet. It's asking a lot for something to build this many frames together. So expect this technology to improve, but expect a lot of crazy results when you first jump in here. So don't think you're going to have an idea and boom, it's going to create something magical. You're going to be blown away. that's most likely not going to be the case. Okay, we have one more prompt. Let's put it in here. Control A, Control C. I'm just copying and pasting it over. A city with buildings made out of cheese. Generate again. Let's run one more. Okay, the result is in. Let's bring it on screen. Oh, okay, I'm hopeful. This is maybe looking like our best yet. Oh, it definitely goes a little fuzzy and blurry, but you can see how it's almost there. So I do think that sometimes if you're using something that's a little bit more of an abstract concept, then maybe you could get better results. But just expecting things to look realistic at this point with this text to video option, it's not really there yet. Okay, so final takeaways for this. This new Magic Media option in Canva is available under the Apps tab. You can be in any sort of project, then you're just going to go in, you're going to search under the Apps tab. So you just click on tabs, you click on this Apps tab here on the left menu, search for Magic Media, and then you can bring it up. And once you do, it's going to be under your left menu. Then you have the text to video option. And you have the text to video option, and you have the text to image option. Now, reviewing our text to image options, you actually can get some really good results. So this text to image option can be a good choice if you don't find anything within Canva Elements that's suitable to what you're going for. Sometimes if you have a really specific thing, especially if it's in some sort of artistic format, I do find that the results with text to image can be really good. And then when you're looking for something that's a little bit more photorealistic, I don't think it does as good of a job yet, but again, you can still sometimes get good results. So experiment around for that text to image option for sure, and you can get some good results. But then once we go from that text to image and we get to the video side of things, then suddenly it starts to go off the rails a little bit, where I just don't think yet the technology is there to give you good results very often. So experiment around, return back to this text to video option with maybe the same prompt over time to see if it can improve. Experiment around with some different types of prompts to see if there are some abstract concepts where maybe it does do a good job. But for now, I think we have to just be in a little bit of a holding pattern, which isn't surprising since it is in beta mode and they say right here under here that this is evolving technology. So we have to be patient, okay? It's not there yet. But again, this is the Magic Media option within Canva. You're going to find it under your Apps tab. You can bring it in here. It is fun to play with, even if it doesn't always work out. So give it a try. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this sort of Canva video, feel free to give us a subscribe to this channel. And I'd love to see you back here soon. Okay, thanks for